Number 9. Trident Lakes. On July 25, 1961, President John F. Kennedy addressed the American people about a need new to our shores to prepare for emergencies, including fallout shelters. The bunkers back then were the bare minimum, cement with fold-out beds and basic food supplies. They were designed just in case the Cold War turned hot. It never did, but fears of calamity, nuclear and otherwise, are back. So are shelters, with a twist. Many new preppers hope to ride out any doomsday consequences in luxury. Trident Lakes is a 700-acre, $330 million project in Ector, Texas, an hour and a half north of Dallas, which is being built from scratch. Marketed as a 5-star playground equipped with DEFCON 1 protection, Trident Lakes is designed for enjoyment like any other resort. In some aspects, the plans for Trident Lakes resembles a resort. Comforts will include a hotel, a gym, a golf course, and polo fields. The community is scheduled to have 600 condominiums, ranging in price from $500,000 to $1,500,000 each, with a waterfront view. Other landscapes are more uncommon. 90% of each unit will be underground, armed security staff will guard a barrier surrounding the property, and there will be helipads for entry and exit. Many customers are motivated by old anxieties showing back up, like the threat of nuclear war or a national debt default leading to civil unrest. Others have newer fears like climate change, pandemics, terrorism, far-left and far-right extremism. In case things do go south, Trident Lakes will offer Navy SEAL experience, self-defense training, and a vault for family DNA. So, how would you like to live here? Number 8. Survival Condo. Where would you want to be in the event of a nuclear war or other earthbound catastrophes? Of course, a bunker is a safe option, though wouldn't that be kind of on the grungy side? Well, if you think a bunker is depressing, think again. Or rather, you'd be in an unhappy situation, but one particular bunker just might take your mind off what's going on topside. This is the Survival Condo, based out in Kansas and owned by Larry Hall. As reported in 2020, it costs $3 million for interested parties and has been extensively repurposed from its original life as a 1960s nuclear warhead silo. Hall has owned the Survival Condo since 2008 and originally had a different plan in mind. As a former defense contractor, he figured the site would be perfect for a data center. There are other surviving ex-government silos in the area that are used for practical purposes. Did you know Star Trek Captain William Shatner shelled out for research into humankind surviving on Mars in one of these places? Larry Hall's idea is more down to earth, but it just shows the versatility of a seemingly bland military facility. So, what's in Hall's silo now? No less than 15 stories of high-end human habitation. Measuring 197 feet deep, it's been compared to a skyscraper turned on its head or pounded into the ground by a hammer. The idea is to allow a maximum of 75 people to coexist for a period of 5 years before supplies run low. As reports state, psychology plays a crucial role in the survival condo. A full supermarket has been built on one level in order to give residents the impression of some semblance of normality. But will that be enough to sustain people before they start getting jumpy and feeling more than a little shut in? Guess we'll have to wait for the next global meltdown to find out. Number 7. Shrublands Road. Essex, England was another part of the world that prepared for a possible nuclear strike during Cold War times. In 1951, a bunker measuring 10,000 square feet was made with reinforced concrete walls. This was only ever a precaution, but the formidable structure, part of the landscape of Mistley Village, was deemed necessary. Should death come from the sky, this was the place where people would go. Thankfully, a nuclear attack never happened in Mistley, leaving the population with a fascinating and kind of frightening reminder of times past. So what do you do with an unused nuclear bunker? Well, it's had an interesting life since then. For several decades, it became a museum, though it closed its doors in 2002. By the way, these doors really can close. Apparently, the property has entrance doors made from military-grade steel. In a perhaps inevitable move, the bunker and its surroundings were bought for the purposes of building homes. 28 homes are on site, according to the parties responsible. They wanted to keep the bunker, dividing it into 3 top-of-the-line apartments. And we think you won't need to worry about the noises from outside. The reinforced concrete walls we mentioned earlier are no less than 3 feet thick. Also, there are apparently secret rooms to be discovered by any homemakers, though they're more likely to contain things like cleaning products rather than official secrets these days, right? Number 6. Cool secret bunker. The whole point about a hidden bunker is it has to stay hidden. So we'd like to tell you where this next deluxe underground residence is, but unfortunately, details of that are scarce, which makes sense if you think about it. A metal hatch in what looks like scrubland could easily be mistaken for a practical object of some kind. Maybe something a maintenance person might lift to access some wiring and such. The truth is somewhat more exotic. Look down and you'll see a ladder that takes you to a kind of cozy-looking getaway reportedly located a few feet down in the dirt. The whole idea is basically a metal tube, though before you start feeling too claustrophobic, check out some of these fantastic modern conveniences. Not only do you have a kitchen area to cook in and a lounge to watch TV or listen to some music, but you also have a washing machine plus a few places to go to sleep once the day is done. Aside from the main bedroom, you have bunk beds to boot. Pretty crazy amount of stuff once you see this photo of what the bunker looked like before they buried it. And you don't need to worry too much about hygiene because the facilities include a shower and a toilet. Just what is that toilet connected up to down there? Probably best not to think about that question too much, right? Cabin fever aside, it's been noted that the bunker is surprisingly roomy compared with some city apartments. Only the corrugated iron type roof gives away the setting. Oh, and mind you don't bump your head when you get up from that sofa. Where would you build your secret bunker? Tell us in the comments and remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Number 5. Cuban Bunker. The Cuban Missile Crisis was one of the scariest times on the planet. It doesn't get much worse than the potential outbreak of World War III, right? America reacted angrily when the Soviet Union began putting nukes in Cuba in 1962, and it looked like an invasion of Fidel Castro's island was on the cards. The Cold War had suddenly turned red hot in a standoff that lasted almost 2 weeks. To say the world held its breath is an understatement, and during that time, concrete bunkers were built on Cuba's coast in anticipation of a major conflict. But as reported in 2022, archaeologists were investigating these historic sites and stumbled upon a message left by a Cuban soldier. Presumably scratched into the rigid walls, it was in Spanish and expressed defiance against the Americans. The bunkers are based in the bedrock and feature 2 exits should forces need to beat a hasty retreat. Thankfully, they never saw use during a global conflict after a deal was made by the White House and its opponents. Despite being a big part of Cuban history, the bunkers are only now being explored using up-to-date tech. Reportedly, the archaeological team is putting together 3D models so they can explore this underground network of bunkers and trenches in detail like never before. Number 4. The OPPIDUM. So we know there's a bunch of nuclear-grade bunkers out there that are waiting to be populated in the event, heaven forbid, of a world crisis. But which is the biggest? That dubious honor appears to go to the OPPIDUM, which is derived from the Latin for enclosed space or ancient fortress. So would you feel like you were shut inside a fortress here in a secret spot in a mountain valley of the Czech Republic? Possibly not. For starters, the below-ground hideaway measures a reported 77,500 square feet. Plenty of space to wander around. And get this, not only are there 7 apartments and a pool, a garden lit by artificial light, and even a cinema. So what better way to escape than watching a good movie? Though we couldn't recommend Dr. Strangelove or 10 Cloverfield Lane. On the more practical side, you have office space and medical resources for those inevitable checkups and emergencies. Set in 323,000 square feet of the countryside, the bunker has a luxury estate up top. So who built this capitalist-sounding paradise? Actually, it was the communists. Back in the mid-80s, with the Cold War still raging, the Soviets teamed up with the Czechs to install a nuke-proof hideout in the mountains. Years later, Czech businessman Jakub Zamrazil saw the potential of this abandoned space and set about converting it into survival-friendly accommodation. This picturesque setting is believed to be a kind of neutral zone and out of the way of many threats. Should the planet be on the brink, all the owner needs to do is go to a secret corridor and shut themselves away for a few years. It looks like they'll emerge with one heck of a breaststroke after all that swimming. Number 3. DRAKELOW tunnels. During the chaos of World War II, Britain had to be organized to fight back against the Nazis. A crucial part of this was building vehicles and equipment which couldn't be done in the open. So, starting in the early 1940s, a tunnel network was dug into the sandstone of DRAKELOW, part of the country of Worcestershire, England. This is quite near to Birmingham, so Peaky Blinders country. The tunnels became what's known as a shadow factory and employed hundreds of staff to supply the war effort. Covering a reported 250,000 square feet, the place was metal-lined in places to protect the rock above from the heat. The hill they were in may have been bomb-proof, but the fluctuating temperatures could have cracked it open without proper protection, resulting in a cave-in. Fascinating how the natural world works, right? With the tunnels reaching the height of a bus, they were used to manufacture many items, and the hard-working staff had their own canteen for food and drinks between shifts. After the war, it was decided to convert the DRAKELOW tunnels into a nuke-proof bunker. The British government would have operated from here in the event of a nuclear strike. In addition, DRAKELOW housed a 3-month supply of clean water, and vents were incorporated to shield inhabitants from the poisonous air outside. It wasn't until the early 1990s that the tunnels were finally closed down, though naturally there was interest in using them for other purposes. Unfortunately, plans to turn the site into a residential and commercial property didn't succeed, but in 2021 a new development went through for the tunnels to operate as a wine center. Cheers to that! Reportedly, some of the locations will be restored to celebrate their former life. Number 2. The Cyber Bunker. While old war bunkers may seem like relics of the past, they can also be used for future cyber warriors. For example, a 20,000 square foot NATO bunker in the Netherlands was purchased by Herman Johan Zenit back in 1995. From here, a company known as Cyberbunker was created when shadowy web-based activity wasn't really a thing with the public. Cyberbunker's philosophy seemed simple enough: to provide secure website hosting for all kinds of people. It was good as long as what they were doing didn't hurt anyone. Then, authorities discovered that real-world drugs were being made there, so the operation was shut down. The company continued in different locations, though not apparently in the original bunker. Controversy dogged the organization, and it went underground again in 2013. As in, they bought another bunker. This one was in Germany, and allegations circulated about Cyberbunker working with assorted bad guys on the dark web. By 2019, the gig was kind of up, following a police raid. Notable names who Cyberbunker helped include the Pirate Bay and WikiLeaks. This story is a strange one, concerning as it does a secretive organization that attracted too much attention to be secret at the end of the day. We wonder what the wartime soldiers and commanders who used those bunkers would have thought of the dramatic developments. Number 1. The Aristocrat. As the name of this luxury underground bunker suggests, you'll live pretty well if you need to retreat to its confines. Not that this is your typical swanky pad for sipping champagne and listening to classical music, though you're welcome to do that if you wish. At a reported price tag of nearly $10 million, you can pretty much do whatever you want. The Aristocrat, available to those with prepper instincts and deep pockets, has a definite home security vibe. That extends to the entrance, where a bulletproof safe house protects you from all kinds of attacks before you even get inside the hidden door. Of course, once you're within the Aristocrat itself, you'll need something to do, but no need to worry about that. The facility is equipped for various leisure activities. You can watch a movie, go to the bowling alley, and if that doesn't sound exciting enough, how about brushing up on your shooting skills courtesy of an on-site gun range? There's a garage for your classic and other cars, not to mention a greenhouse for those wanting to connect with nature. The bunker runs on both traditional and solar energy, so you won't have issues with the power supply if the grid goes down. We're tempted to try it out, though it's always worth remembering that you'll be living inside one of these things during the worst of circumstances. Would you rather survive a nuclear attack or a massive hurricane? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more fantastic videos right here on American Eye.